Thank you. I am so grateful to be here. Such wonderful storytellers, such a wonderful place, such a wonderful crowd. And thanks so much to John for doing such a great job. Okay, so one night in 1996, I jumped up on a stage in front of a room packed with famous people. I grabbed the mic and I practically shouted at everyone about how confident I was. And then I found myself having what all those famous people in that room would call the actor's nightmare. Have you ever had that dream where you dream you're on stage and you're in a play, but you don't know the play? Well, 1996 was actually a pretty rough year for me, especially in comparison to the year before when I was 25 years old and my college comedy group were on top of the world. We graduated from NYU and were hired and had our own TV show like right after graduation. So for a few years there, we were just riding on waves of success. But even at that time, I remember praying, please God, help us be together forever. Because I was kind of clinging to the fact that there's safety in numbers. You know, you get up on stage and what if you fuck up, right? It's not so bad if you're in a group because there's always someone to catch you if you fall. You know, if you make a mistake in a group, your friend right next to you makes a joke about the mistake, no problems. So the group broke up. A lot of problems. Now, this place that I was jumping up on stage at was called Luna Lounge. And that year in 1996, it was the hottest place in town to go see a comedy show on Monday nights. Every other night, it was a punk rock bar, but on Monday nights, they allowed comedians in, right? Now, it was a total hole in the wall, and I happened to live just a couple floors above it. But here's the thing, that place was like a who's who of comedy in 1996. Everyone there was either on TV or in movies or about to be on TV or in movies. And my group had broken up and I was still kind of like nursing a wound over it. I had become a little scared of show business people. So there were some nights when my social anxiety was so intense, I couldn't bring myself to walk down the 2 flights of stairs to go see the show. So I thought to myself, you know what, Kevin, you've got to start faking confidence. So one night, I go see the show. I fake enough confidence to say to the guy who runs the show, hey, could I get on it sometime? And he's like, sure, dude, I've seen you on TV. How's next Monday? And I said, I couldn't say no. That was really soon, but okay. I said yes, and I immediately thought, hey, this whole faking confidence thing, maybe there's something in that. Maybe if I wrote a character monologue to share on stage, and that character was so fucking confident, no one would ever have to see the real me, right? So I'm like, that's the plan. I'm gonna write the perfect monologue and I am gonna memorize it word for word. I'll know it like the back of my hand. No one will ever know any better. So I couldn't decide. Did I wanna make a character who was like wonderfully, joyfully confident or like evil confident? So I decided to make him a split personality. Someone with like, schizophrenia or something who keeps bouncing back and forth. Sometimes he is as fun and jolly as a cartoon character, and sometimes he is as like frightening as Charles Manson, this mass murderer from the 1960s. So I wrote the monologue. I figured, I thought it was pretty funny. And then I recited it into an audio recorder. And then I walked all the way up and down Manhattan Island for days, just listening to those same 10 paragraphs over and over and over to make sure I knew that thing and nothing could go wrong. Well, I got there and I said to the host, you should introduce me as a mystery guest, right? I don't want people to know who I am. The host's name was Jeff, and he was like, okay, great. So he did. He introduced me as this mystery guest, and he got off the stage. That's when I leapt up onto the stage, and the minute my feet hit that stage, a feeling just overwhelmed my body. And it was the feeling, holy shit, I'm all alone up here. But I grabbed the mic anyway, and I started into my monologue. I said, hi there. Well, I guess you're all wondering just exactly who I am. And I can understand that, and that's why I'm perfectly willing to admit that I am Charles Manson. And then I burst out laughing, and I'm like, what? I'm not Charles Manson. And then I get angry at them for having believed that I might be Charles Manson. And then I start weeping for now they don't believe I'm Charles Manson. It was totally nuts. And when I get to the end of that first paragraph of that monologue, I'm supposed to look at someone in the audience and say, think about it, jackass. So I do, and everyone laughs. And then I go completely blank. I can't remember the next line. I can't remember the next paragraph. I don't remember what this monologue is about. So I'm kind of staring at them, and they're staring at me, and we're all confused. And I'm thinking, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then I thought, well, I remember what I just said. So what if I went back to the beginning and started over, and then all the words will come back to me, it'll start flowing again. So suddenly I find myself saying, hi there. Well, I guess you're all wondering just exactly who I am. Now everyone looks completely bewildered, but still intrigued. So I go through the whole first paragraph again, and I get to the end, and I look at that guy, and I say, think about it, jackass. And I go completely blank again. It was like, have you ever seen in a carnival those dunking booths where someone just throws a baseball and then the guy drops into a tank of water? I felt like that guy, like, I was just underwater. And I'm staring at them, they're staring at me. And I had never felt that particular kind of unsafe ever before. Because here I was in the actor's nightmare, but on a loop. So all I could think to do was to look to the host of the show to the left, this guy Jeff, and I forgot that I had a microphone right in front of me. So I just wanted to say it to him, but everyone heard me say, I can't do this. And I started to flee the room. Now here's the thing. Luna Lounge, like I said, it was a hole-in-the-wall punk rock bar. There were no seats, so there were no aisles. It was just jam-packed with people sitting cross-legged on the floor. And, the door is about as far from me as that one is now. So by fleeing the room, I meant I had to start stepping over and between all of their bodies to try to get to that door. It was the most excruciating exit of all time. But then something amazing happened. Because they had heard me say, I can't do this. And they started thinking, oh, Kevin is playing a guy who's so insane, he doesn't know if he's Charles Manson or not. That's probably also the kind of guy who would suddenly try to flee a theater with no way out. So, they'd heard me say I can't do it, and they said, "No! You can do it! Do it, do it, do it, do it!" And now tears are coming down my face, and I'm crawling over there and going, "No, I can't." And then someone grabs one of my feet, and I go down into the bodies, right? Then I found myself doing something I had never done before. Body surfing. It was a punk rock bar after all. And it's really weird to have people pushing your body up and bouncing you around like a beach ball whenever you're like 4 feet off the ground because they're sitting down. So I'm kind of twirling around like I'm in a horror movie. And they just kind of cough me up like a cat spitting up a hairball back up on the stage. So now I'm wiping the tears away and I'm like, I am no longer a dominant partner in this relationship. They say I can do it, and they say do it. And suddenly, every word of that monologue came back to me. And I went nuts about how I'm Charles Manson, I'm gonna do so much murdering tonight, I'm gonna murder all of you and paint the walls with your blood, blah, 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 blah. And they loved it. I was the biggest hit of the night. Now, at the end of the show, there was this Hollywood agent in the back, and he said to me, "That thing where you were pretending to flee the room, that was brilliant." And now I had the confidence to just tell the guy the fucking truth. I said, no, I was trying to flee the room. I forgot what I was doing. And he said, "Whoa, so you had the actor's nightmare and you turned it into gold." Well, now, several years later, something happened that brought it all full circle to me. I was at home and I was listening to this radio program where they were playing a historic recording of the American singer Bob Dylan when he was super young at this big, like, Carnegie Hall. And he starts into a song, playing a riff on his guitar, and then he just plays this riff over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm thinking, what's going on, Bob? Then he stops playing the guitar and yells out to the audience, "Does anyone know how the lyrics to this song go?" And the audience yells out the lyrics, and he says, "Thank you, great," and he launches into it. And I thought, man, that's what that Luna Lounge experience was really about for me. Because I blanked out on that stage twice because I was so nervous that my team wasn't with me. I thought there was no one to catch me if I fell. And a room full of people caught me when I fell. So it's worth thinking about. If you ever find yourself in front of a microphone, in front of a room full of people, remember, you might think, shit, I don't know if I can do this. But I'll bet you everyone in the room would say, yeah, you can. Thank you.
Thank you. That was